Hey, what's going on, everybody? Casty Haynes here, owner of BODYSLAM.net, and we are back with another installment of our GCW Road to Hammerstein Interview Series. And I'm joined with Kylie Fuller, and we are here with Gringo Loco. What's going on, man?
Hey, brother, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for having me.
Man, appreciate you coming on, dude. This is big stuff happening this week, man.
Super, super exciting time in my career, and I believe in most of the other guys on the card's career. This is very historic. Super happy to be here, and cannot wait until Sunday.
Yeah, man, this is probably obviously the biggest night for GCW, but this is a big night for wrestling in general because you guys you're now on regular pay per view too, as opposed to just being on streaming, which that's a huge deal in its own right as well. And yeah, the whole world, like I said, the world on GCW, the eyes of the world are on you guys this week, man. So, how's it feel to know that you're going into Hammerstein? This is a huge venue. You've never been in there before, wrestling, right? This is your first time.
I have not. I would say it's probably the most significant date in my career by far. I had a bunch of awesome dates in Mexico City when I was down there, like bigger crowds and just raucous, but I think this is definitely going to take the cake. Um, in terms of just how unique it all organically happened. There's not like a huge money backing. A lot of the elements that are going into this makes it so much more special that like we did this, GCW did this, and the fans have pushed us into a sold out Hammerstein ballroom without any matches announced at the time. So I think that the entire locker room is more than ready to go out there and kill it. A lot of the guys have points to prove, and just to kind of put a staple in the history of independent wrestling that like this is our night, and you guys made it happen, the fans. So I think it's just going to be electric.
I agree. I'll be there myself, man. I couldn't miss it. I made sure not to sleep on this one. I think I was the fourth to last ticket left on Ticketmaster that night. I think I bought mine at like 2:30 in the morning. I was talking to KG. Yeah, I was talking to KG, and he was like, "Oh man, there's only like 5 left." I was like, "Oh shit, I better go and grab one," because I just assumed I'm always in the guys like, I'll get one later. I can always get in. But I was like, I don't know if that's going to be the case. So I went ahead and made sure I snagged one right there at the end that night. But
Yeah, day and a half. It took a day and a half to sell out the Hammerstein Ballroom with 0 matches announced. That's something to say, man, about how passionate these fans are for GCW, and it's every city, all the way down to little old Laramie, Wyoming. The time that we went there, it was still raucous, just like every other city, like New York, LA. Everywhere we go, I couldn't believe it. I mean, there was literally bulls, horses, donkeys, and pigs right outside of the venue in Laramie, Wyoming, and it's still sold out, and it was still crazier than any other independent date that I've taken. So there's something really to be said about that.
yeah, and not only did you sell it out in 2 days or a little over 2 days, but you broke the record for wrestling in that building too, as far as number of people that are going to be there, and that says a lot too. Because seeing who's been in there before, we got WWE, you've had ECW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and now you guys topped all of them. So it's huge, man. It really is, like you were saying. And
it goes to say a lot about who Brett Lauderdale is as a person. He wants to squeeze every single possible person that he can legally put in to that space, and he did it. And like you just said, look at the companies that you just named, and we're the company that fit the most people in there. So it's just incredible to be a part of. And that phrase goes, "I'm just happy to be here," is definitely where my mindset is. So it's go time. It really is go time. It's the last week before Hammerstein. I didn't sleep at all on Monday night, and here we are. It's just time to go.
that's what's up, man. And you began your career in what, 2005? Is that right?
I'd say 2003, actually.
Three.
There's a videotape that I have in my basement somewhere, and it's timestamped 2003. I remember June 8th being pretty significant. It was either match 1 or match 2, possibly match 3, but it was June 8th, 2003 for a promotion called MAW. So if it goes back farther than that, I don't have any memory of it, but it goes back pretty far.
Man, you've been around then. And I had somebody sent in a question for us. It's actually that since we're talking about the old days, reader question. DJ Sterion asked, "Can you share a memory or two of the early days in the Chicago scene, especially AWA Slam?"
Oh, so yeah. Did you say AAW?
AWA or AAW Slam. I think maybe they typed it wrong, but
Yeah, I mean, I have memories for both. I started in a like trailer dock, you know, where they put the trailers and they load stuff in. It was like
mhm.
one of those spaces, and I really got my start there. I was just training and doing stuff that I saw on TV. There was a guy named Buddha who, rest in peace, passed away, and then his son was helping out. And that's actually where, in my first couple of weeks, met Mustafa Ali. And I've known him my entire career, and him and I would always tear it up and just try to do new things and try to be innovative. Which I don't know if you follow my social media, but even down to this day, he would always come back and train with me because there's just such a chemistry between us. And we taught ourselves a lot of the stuff that we know now. A lot of my real actual training came from Mexico City, from a lot of the coaches down there. Um, and then if we're going to go into AAW a little bit, that was
Mhm.
like the real first company that I felt gave me an opportunity and opened the door for me back in the Chicago scene 15, 16 years ago, and really saw something in me. And I'll forever be grateful for them. They let me do lucha libre, you know, when lucha libre was not common in the States back then. And yeah, we were pretty over. I got to be honest. If you go back and watch the videos or DVDs, it was a really exciting time in my career because I was bringing something new. I was standing out, and I was killing it with what I was teaching myself at that gym that I mentioned previously. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
What led you to get more into the lucha style of wrestling as opposed to the more common, the American style? How did you find yourself going down that path?
Yeah, so the very beginning, I was in high school and I didn't know where to find a professional wrestling ring. So I went to a gymnastics tumbling floor, and that's where we were doing our stuff. And then like an actual worker came in, an actual wrestler, and saw us, and it was like, you know, where do you guys work? And like we named like the employment status of where we worked. We're like, oh, he works at Jim Johnson, whatever. And he was like, no, no, like where do you guys work? And we didn't know what he was talking about. He was like, why don't you guys show up at this address next Thursday? And I think you'll like what you'll see. Now that sounds pretty sketchy, right?
Yeah.
But you know, crazy high schoolers were like, let's just go see what this guy's talking about. It ended up being a lucha libre Mexican gym, like just in a weird area, like very discreet, and that's where actually I got my start in professional wrestling. The AWA Slam place actually came afterwards. So now that I'm remembering it, my roots in wrestling is from lucha libre. So it was with a little small promotion called I don't even remember, LMAX or something, and then the teachers were the Escobedo brothers, which they really gave me the name Gringo Loco from the very beginning. So that's why I've been always true and tried to keep that name throughout my career. So yeah, it's a different start, but like I said, I wouldn't change it for anything.
That's awesome. Kylie, you got some questions, right?
Yes, I do. So you're coming off 2 wins in scramble matches at Most Notorious and Say You Will. So I'd say you have the most momentum of almost anybody on the GCW roster going into this major show. So talk about those wins and sort of how you feel going in.
Yeah, exciting is got to be the adjective. You know, Detroit was so electric. I personally love opening the show with us preloaded, as Brett would say. As the show opens, we're already in the ring, and then you hear that magical GCW chant, and they're loud and they're ready, and they're just ready to eat everything that we're providing for them. Excitement would be a word. You know, if I'm going into Hammerstein, there's no better way to go than winning 2 scrambles in a row. So I have my team behind me, and we're going against Team Bandito, and I think it's going to be just a very, very special match and a very special occasion for all 6 of us that are going in there in New York City on Sunday.
And that match was one of the first ones to be announced, wasn't it? Your 6-way match.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome too, to be like one of the first matches announced for that huge card too. To be like, all right, here's we're going to start you off with this, and that's awesome too. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, to have your place secured is definitely something that's amazing and comfortable, and now you have a mindset of like, okay, well, it's go time. It's definitely time to kill this date. So I think you guys are going to be very impressed by what we come up with.
Yeah, I definitely think we will be. And another thing about these scramble matches, we really get to see a lot of different guys with a lot of different styles and different experience levels. And it really makes the scramble matches that much more exciting. But GCW's roster itself is very diverse, and they've really made a point to pull in people from different wrestling styles, different backgrounds, different personal styles. So how important do you think that is to GCW's success? Like, from a fan's perspective, I love the variety show because you can have a lucha libre style and you have a deathmatch style on the same show. So how important do you think that is?
I think it's vital to the company's success. If you really think about, when you go into a restaurant and it's a buffet, you're going to see 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you absolutely love. And then at the end of that bar, you're going to see some things that, I haven't tried, but I'm willing to, maybe see what that tastes like. So let's say, you're a super fan of lucha libre and high flying and all that, but then that other side of the bar has a death match aspect to it, and then you see it for the first time and you're tasting it essentially and you love it. Well, guess what? Now when you come back to GCW, you're going to have all of that on the same plate for whatever the price of admission is, and of course you're going to pay it because it has everything that you could ever want to eat at the buffet. So I think it's just so important. I think it's so versatile to see a company have everything on one show in every city. I think that's why GCW is so successful at the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree. I also think that it kind of creates a lot of buzz when you have these sort of matches that you can really push. And one of the more sort of controversial styles GCW seems to enjoy is intergender wrestling. And people like it, they don't like it, but you have been in intergender matches with Alley Catch and GCW. You've sort of been in these multi-man matches. So what is, just from your perspective, what is it like approaching an intergender match, knowing that it's so controversial, knowing that GCW itself can be controversial already? What's sort of your mindset there?
Well, doesn't the phrase go, controversy creates cash, right? I'm all about it. I've never seen intergender as controversial. Me personally, I show up to work and I see what's on the plate and I proceed from there. I've never had any hesitance going into a match like that, especially, if you look at an athlete like Thunder Rosa or Allie or anybody that's been around for a while, you can create magic with any one of those individuals easily. So, I don't think it's controversial at all. I think that we're all seen as professional wrestlers at this point, especially in this day and age. And I think it's more of a mindset of we have to go in there and kill it. Let's show the world what we can do, essentially. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And I wanted to ask, as someone who does have a lot of experience in wrestling, GCW has sort of, over time, built this strong base of young talent. And we're starting to see them sort of push into sort of the main event level. A lot of these younger guys, like an Atticus Kogar and a Jordan Oliver and all these young talent. So what's it like in the locker room with these guys as they're learning and growing and developing? Do you assume sort of a mentor role in the locker room? Is that something that you make a point to do?
I think that a lot of these young individuals get put in these like major positions of like do or die moments. And I've never seen any one of them die. Like, the young kids are so hungry and realize the importance of what situation they're being thrown into. And I think they realize, look, it's do or die. And all of them are killing it. You look at like Yo-Ya, getting in, in there with Mercer, and Mercer just throwing him into the crowd and making him look like $1 million. I think that me taking a mentor in some cases has happened, and I'm blown away by it because I'm still trying to make it myself, But I do get a lot of younger guys and some of the older guys coming up and asking for advice or tips or how did this look, and I'm really caught off guard by it because I'm still looking up to other people, asking them for advice as well. But I do see that they're a lot younger than I am, and I guess that does kind of make sense that I've been around a while, and they kind of value opinions. So yeah, I'm super for advice because I'm more than willing to do that.
Yeah, I definitely think that's one of GCW's greatest strengths and sort of something that's made it so successful is the ability to introduce these young guys. And now we're seeing guys who are in their teens being introduced into GCW and just helping them look great in front of the crowd, and look great on the pay-per-views and sort of build them up gradually. And now GCW has this huge roster of just people that are beloved by the fans. It's just really incredible to see. And I don't think there's any fans that are really like GCW fans. As someone who's been to GCW shows, the environment is so different from any other wrestling show, any other promotion, anything I've ever been to. So from a wrestler's perspective, what is that energy like? What are the GCW fans like from your perspective?
Oh, they're the absolute best. So I'll have like, back in the day, I used to have like 3-day wrestling loops, and out of every 3-day loop, I would come back and I would like evaluate my experience and send texts out to my friends and all that. And every single time it was like, man, but this GCW show though, it was so lit. I feel so full. I feel so satisfied by the reaction and the receptiveness and just the acceptance and just overall general appreciation for what we're doing. And they get it. It's not like they don't get it. They're smart and they're appreciative. And I mean, I can take you back like 2 or 3 years when I got my first couple of opportunities with GCW in like Nashville when I wasn't really known yet, and like New Jersey. And it was just like the most raucous crowd I've ever worked in front of. And it just kept happening and happening, and I kept getting booked more. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I definitely love GCW and need to be a part of this full-time, quicker than later. This is an incredible company, and it's only gotten better. I mean, it's every city: Detroit, Electric, Chicago. Obviously, my hometown was special for me, but you know, LA is out of their minds. It's just Laramie, Wyoming, everywhere. It's just Texas is out of their mind. It's the best golden age of my career by far, and I think a lot of guys would say that.
Yeah, I agree, man. Did you you started with GCW, you debuted what, 2018? Is that right? Was that around there?
Yeah, I don't know how far, it sounds about right.
Was it Joey's Spring Break? Was that it? Was that your first match with GCW?
So yes. Actually, that was my first GCW. And a story about that. Rest in peace, Marcus Crane, one of my really good friends. The promoter, Brett Lauderdale, came and found me in AIW in Cleveland and said, hey, I need you on this show, Spring Break. And I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. I had no idea what that meant. Crane overheard that and was like, bro, you just got to book for Spring Break. Said, yeah, dude, but to drive to Louisiana, New Orleans, I don't want to do that. And I'm probably going to tell him no. He was like, you don't understand what you're saying. And I was like, bro, I'm not driving 16 hours. I'm like over that. So long story short, I take the date, and obviously you saw how amazing Spring Break 2 was. And I was like, damn, well, thank you, Marcus Crane. Like, you obviously knew more than I did. That was amazing. And then from there, we were off to the races. But, you know, thankfully, seriously, rest in peace, Marcus Crane. It's all because of him. I was definitely going to tell Brett Lauderdale no or yes, and I was like not going to go because it was just too far. But I am very thankful that I did.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that was a real good, touching thing they did for Marcus in Atlantic City. That he meant a lot to everybody. I got to meet him a couple times in Chicago and in Atlantic City when I was down there for Fight Club weekend. He was down there, so yeah, he meant a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was a kinder soul, let alone wrestling, but a kinder soul in life. Like, he was just, if you were his friend, he would do literally anything for you. And I think that's few and far between now, that somebody would do anything for anyone, you know. But yeah, he will be missed. Marcus Crane was the man.
He was. Let's see. Now, you touched a little bit on we talked about your lucha background. Now, GCW announced today that they are bringing in Mascara Dorado to February for 3 shows. Now, is there anybody that you would like, a lucha star, that you would want them to bring in to maybe work with yourself? Because, you know, that's kind of what they do. They bring in some huge name and nostalgia pop, or just some, you know, big star to work with. Is there somebody that you want to lock up with?
I mean, he would definitely be on top of the list. He is an amazing talent. You know, what's so funny about this, how everything comes full circle, is he didn't have a name at all. I was living in Guadalajara. We trained in the same arena in CMLL in Guadalajara for about 6 to 7 months. And I knew then how special he was and how talented he was, because I would show up to practice hoping that guy was there. I didn't know his name. I didn't know anything, but I knew how super talented he was. and how hungry he was like me. So when I would show up and for whatever reason he wasn't there, it was a big disappointment. But every time that I would show up and he was there, I'm telling you, me and Dorada would stay in the ring after hours, 4 hours, just like innovating and doing like rope tricks because he's the king of the ropes.
Yeah.
So me and him have a long history, and I'm so glad. I knew the world would catch on eventually how good he was. He got to the top of that mountain for WWE, and now he's released to the lions, and like all of us who are gonna like eat him up and work with him and just make him do amazing things. So it's something to really look forward to. Dorada is the man. Volador Jr., Negro Casas was booked, but whatever happened. Like, there's so many legends and present day stars that we still have to kind of tap into and bring them into GCW to show the world like how amazing these performers are.
Yeah, and I really think in the past few years, we've sort of seen the bridge between Mexico and North America really being built, not just in AEW, but in any promotions. Both North American wrestlers going to Mexico, Mexican wrestlers coming to North America. So I think I love it as a fan, and I think that's something we're definitely going to see a lot more of in the future. So who knows?
Yeah, I think I do want to say that I'm so happy that Lucha Libre is now getting the respect that it's always deserved, and it's getting their little bit of a corner on these GCW shows to really showcase the best of the best. And I think it's a long time coming. I think the Lucha Brothers definitely trailblazed that path for us, but now like we're here, and it feels like we're here to stay because people really like if there's a Lucha match announced for any promotion, and much more so in GCW. So
who are some of your like Lucha Libre idols or like inspirations for where you pull from your style from? Do you have?
Yeah, so I've very early on in my career, I realized that I enjoy being the base or the rudo, the bad guy in the Lucha Libre aspect of wrestling. So I liked carrying people and making them look like $1 million because I realized how essential that piece of the puzzle really is. And I realized that they couldn't do that with everyone because they would get dropped or they would get hurt or whatever. So I was working with Bushi from New Japan. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Early on in our career, we were wrestling in Naucalpan. It's just like a smaller arena in Mexico City. He didn't really speak that much English, but right before he was taken off back to Japan, he called a spot with me, and it was like kind of a riskier head scissor. And I was like, "Hey, man, you sure?" Off the ropes or whatever it was. And he was like, I asked him, "Are you sure?" And he looked at me and he said, "Siempre seguro, Gringo Loco," which really was the spark for me to kind of continue with this basing in Lucha Libre. So what it translates into is it's always going to be safe with you, and I can do anything with you, which really gave me the confidence that I needed in myself, and that he was relying on me to make sure that he was safe. And I really started to thrive on that in Mexico City, and now I've brought it to the States to where, I had Marco stunt one time at, I forget what the House of Independence in New Jersey is what it was. He jumped off of a balcony into a head scissor, like onto the concrete floor, and I completely saved his life. So I think I really thrive on like people trusting me with their life and their body. So that's really where I was at in my wrestling career at that time. So thankfully, I had a couple of people pull me to the side and say, "Hey, it's great that you're carrying these guys and you're making them look like $1 million, but what about you? Like, you need to be seen." So then, as you guys have seen kind of fairly recently within the last couple of years, I've incorporated offense for me in my matches, which wasn't always the case. And now I think that's why people are starting to say like, "Oh, wow, he actually is kind of good," because I started doing stuff for me as well. So it took me a while to realize that because I was just enjoying making other people look good. But we're here. I understand more of what's going on now, and I think that's why Gringo's really kind of taken off a little bit. So I'm appreciative for that.
Nice. Kylie, you got some more stuff there? Some more questions? I think.
No, I think we covered everything that I.
All right. Well, I got a little bit more here for you. Let me pull some of these up. We have some more. Let's just talk a little bit more about Hammerstein. Like, what does it mean? I mean, this for you specifically to like be able to represent Lucha in Hammerstein and just this moment for you. Let's talk a little bit more about that because that's really what this is about. Is what you guys have done to get this company to this point. So let's focus on that.
I just think it's full circle. It's the pinnacle of my career. I'm in a absolutely perfect spot of, for myself mentally, physically, knowing 100% that I can pull this off, that I have all the tools to make it a success, to make it a memorable match, to maybe inspire the younger generation who might, turn on GCW on Sunday and say, man, this is what I want to do for a living. Because, I think a lot of us wrestlers had those moments. And if I can create that and inspire somebody to become a professional wrestler, or just to pursue their dreams in general, maybe they'll hear my story and, see the long road that it took to get to Hammerstein, but he did it and he's there and he killed it. And there's a memorable match for however long, but just super excited, man. It's just one of those things that, I used to watch as a young child. I used to have to work at like Jimmy John's, make enough money so I can order those ECW pay-per-views. A couple of the last ones were at Hammerstein, and just like, super crazy. Tajiri, Guido, all those guys, Whip Rep, all of them had such an influence on me in that building. And now I'm going to be doing the same thing, hopefully influencing the younger generation. I think it's magical. This whole week has been magical so far. My phone has never been blowing up more than this week alone, just with fans and podcast interviews. It's just been electric.
Awesome.
And I think that energy will definitely be in Hammerstein that night as well.
Yeah, it really does. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. It really does feel like we're sort of entering a new golden age of the indies. So what's it like to be part of the promotion that spearheaded that?
It's just incredible. I mean, I'm just happy to be here. I mean, I know Brett Lauderdale has a lot of trust in me and the guys that I'm bringing in, and we're just bringing in the top and the best of the best in the lucha libre. I mean, it's hard to have a bad match with the talent that we're bringing in for that match. So it's just so exciting. How do you guys feel about it? I mean, are you guys super stoked?
I'm super stoked. Are you kidding? I'm thinking about it nonstop.
I'm flying from North Carolina up, so I'd say I'm pretty excited for it. So
So I mean, when you're flying in from somewhere else, that's when you have a special product. When you have to see it live, you're going to be part of history. You know that you're going to see some of the best professional wrestling. Whatever your style is, it's going to be there and it's going to be awesome. So there's probably going to be a couple surprises too, which there always is.
Always.
It's an overall great experience, man, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I've like I said, I'm 39, so I've been around. I grew up through the ECW, like the heyday of it, and I've said it numerous times. This feels to me like this push for you guys to Hammerstein is like when they were running to pay-per-view for the first time too. And technically, you guys now are doing the same thing since you're on actual pay-per-view and not just Fight TV and stuff like that. So it's a very similar feel for me, just to have lived that in the 90s and then to be part of this now. I made it a point to try to go to as many shows of you guys as I can recently too, just leading up to it, because it's something special, man. It really is. And I can't wait to see what happens next. Like from here on, like after this weekend, things change. You know what I mean? For you guys, so it'll be interesting to see where you guys go from here. And I can't wait to be a part of it and just cover this and, see what happens next.
Come on, man. You're giving me goosebumps over here, bro.
Dude, that's the point. It's incredible. This is a big deal, man. This is so big, and I can't wait to see you guys this weekend and just to be a part of it with you guys. And I'll be there Friday through. I'm flying back Tuesday. I got an extra day in the city, so I'll be up there. I was trying to talk our boy Rob into coming, but he's not making the trip, man. Chicago Rob wouldn't do it.
Oh, Chicago Rob. Everybody loves Chicago Rob.
That's my boy, man.
Mentioning him right now. Yeah.
I put him over anytime I can, man. That's my guy. I was trying to get him to come out, but he's not making it up to New York. He said he stays around Chicago. He is, man.
You know what I was going to touch on is kind of has like barely legal vibes. Remember the ECW pay-per-view?
Yep. That's it. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
And we're literally the Taka Michinoku match. That's what it is.
Oh man, good. That's a perfect analogy. That's great. So this weekend though, before we wrap it up with you, have Warrior Wrestling on Saturday, the night before you go to Hammerstein on Sunday. Is it a 6-man? Is it a scramble or what'd you have exactly? You told me earlier.
Yeah, it's definitely a scramble. It's for the Warrior Lucha Championship. It's got Sam Adonis, Aramis, ASF, Drago Kid, and myself. So really looking forward to that one. That's a full plate as well. So nothing to be to shy away from. That's going to be an amazing banger as well. And Warrior Wrestling is so great. They got Osprey on that show. They got Brian Cage. So many stars from everywhere. They always kill it, and they have a new venue, which I'm super excited about. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
I like
this
what
is
they
gonna
do
be,
up there. Is it Principal Steve? Is that his name? The guy that's the owner
Yeah,
or whatever?
Steve.
And if I'm not mistaken, pretty much everything after they cover expenses goes back to the school, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
it's a very special place in that aspect, man. I mean, they're helping their kids with sponsorships and all kinds of programs for them afterwards. Yeah, it's great.
yeah, that's a big deal, and I love that they're doing that. And I don't think enough recognition gets brought to what Warrior Wrestling does on that right there, and that it's pretty much just a nonprofit. It's a charity-based thing for his school system that he has, and that's incredible, especially with the cards you guys always have too, bringing in so many people and doing good stuff up there in Chicago. So yeah, everybody needs to check that out. Now, is that they usually are streamed as well? Do you know if that one's on Fight this weekend or where is that?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's High Spots. I'm pretty
High Spots this
positive
time?
about that. It might be Fight. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But
Yeah, I didn't look it up, but they usually are carried somewhere. So everybody should try
Yeah.
to check that out and get a look at that.
yeah, absolutely.
But man, I appreciate you coming in and doing this for us. I am super excited for this weekend. Everybody, make sure you check out GCW this weekend, the Wrld On GCW. Check out Gringo Loco, Team Gringo versus Team Bandito. We got Bandito, ASF, and Laredo Kid versus Gringo Loco, Arez, and Demonic Flamita. And man, that's just going to be awesome, dude. I can't wait to see what you guys pull out, man. I'm so excited for this match.
Man, pleasure's all mine. Thank you guys so much for having me on. It's a very exciting time in my career, and for the fans, I'm sure you guys are going to just be having the time of your lives out there. So just make a lot of noise for everything involved. And again, I'll see you guys there.
Yeah, and tell us where we can find you too before we go out on social media. Plug all your socials and stuff. Let everybody know where they can follow your work and how to keep in touch with you and all that good stuff.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So Twitter is just Gringo Loco OG with the capital OG. And then the Instagram is I_am_base god. I am base god. And then Facebook is just my shoot name, Charlie Santo. A lot of interesting stuff going on there. And yeah, that's it. I got merch at all the shows that I'll be at, and I'm always very approachable. Just come say hi, man.
Where can we buy your merch online too? Before we get away, is there a place?
Yeah,
to do that?
it's just usually DMs and stuff. I just send it out every Tuesday morning. So that's how it works over here. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, Kylie, tell everybody where we can find you and what you've got going on.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Fuller_Kylie. I do the GCW post show on the BODYSLAM.net YouTube account. I'll be doing the post show for this show, the Hammerstein show, so I'm really excited. I also do interviews, and you can also find me on the ADHD Divas podcast.
Awesome. All right, guys, and make sure you follow BODYSLAM.net. Go to the website, follow all your wrestling news results. We have editorials, podcasts dropping almost daily. You can follow us on social media at BODYSLAM.net, pretty much on everything. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff's the same. I'm Casty Haynes. You can follow me right here on Twitter at Casshole with 3 O's. That's CASSHOOOLE. And guys, appreciate you following us, tuning in, and we'll have more of these all week leading up to this weekend's big Hammerstein show. Gringo, thanks again, man. I really appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely. Pleasure's all mine. And remember, all hail the base god.
Nice.